What's up with it? Polo Sports Talk and Entertainment. Excuse me, y'all. Make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not a member. And also hit the notifications too so that you're able to get all of my videos and all of my content. Okay. Now, Juicy J has recently you came out. He came out. He said this about a week ago. And he basically kept it a stack on what really led to the breakup of the 3 6 Mafia group. Now, I wanna clarify something real quick, okay? Now, a lot of people don't realize that when 3 6 had broke up, DJ Paul had started. They came with a whole nother group, and it was called the Mafia Six, and then of course there was the original. So and I think that had to do with some sort of contract, something in the contract or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So I want to just clarify that because a lot of people were wondering why they uh they had did that. Now, Juicy J had basically came out and basically stated that drugs was the reason that that led to the breakup between 3 6, and we're talking about wild drug use. Now, he basically said, quote, from heroin to meth to cocaine, all kinds of pills. He said a lot of drugs were consumed during the times we were together. When everybody was sober and shit, everybody's on the same page. But when cocaine's involved, things change. But I'm not pointing the finger at nobody. It happened. And he continued, he said, it's the drugs. I can't think of anything else. He said that was the main thing that really fucking everything up. People weren't showing up to the studio. People weren't handling business. The business was crazy and everything was folding. It's just the drugs. And he said, I had to bust up in Lord Infamous room before, R.I.P. to Lord Infamous, and I was almost in tears. I thought the nigga was dead at first. So I had to go to get the keys because he wouldn't answer the phone. I was banging on the door, so I had to bust up in his room, and I had pretty much beat him to wake him up. He was talking about the time when Lord Infamous had passed out because he was on drugs. This is the thing, man. A lot of people don't understand that 3 6, man, they went full force with everything that they were doing. Now, I'm not trying to give any type of pass or anything, because listen, there's functioning, there's functioning, like for instance, like an alcoholic. Excuse me, y'all. Like when you have a person that's on alcohol, you know what I'm saying. You have people that can't function, and then you have people that can function or functioning alcoholic. Um, in this case, a lot of these guys, when they were on drugs and stuff, the only ones that really seemed like they could really focus were Juicy and Paul, and even them two right there, they weren't getting along. Because of certain, everybody gonna bump heads. That's just inevitable. What's up with it, Kevin Foster? I see you in the building. But you know, I'm not surprised by that. When you talk, he said cocaine, he said meth, and he said heroin. You understand what I'm saying? And like, you know what I'm saying? When you were under that type of influence of those type of drugs or whatever, everybody's body is different. So everybody's not gonna be on one accord. And different stuff hits people in different ways. And I'm gonna be honest with you. The only thing that I thought they were really doing was maybe coke, because in the beginning of the song, and sipping on some scissor, he was basically saying, well, all you non-snorters, or non-smokers and non-sippers, man, y'all need to get the fuck up out of here. I mean, he was talking about people that was basically snorting lines, and I thought that's as far as it went, but apparently not. Apparently, they were doing stuff that was much more hardcore than that. But I mean, if you look, a lot of them dudes, man, they lucky to have their sanity if they was doing that. Now, I'm not saying that they were doing it to the point where, okay, dang, they needed rehab or anything like that. We don't know their personal business like that or anything. But if Juicy J is trying to beat down the door to save Lord Infamous, Lord R.I.P. Lord Infamous's life, then shoot, their habit was pretty bad, and I just think that just goes to show you, man, it goes with growth and maturity. A lot of things break groups up. A lot of things break groups up, whether it's a falling out over money, falling out over women, falling out over a contract, or falling out over some street beef, or falling out over you know not getting that much shine, or something like that, or recognition. You know what I'm saying? And this right here, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I thought, I know it was a lot more to that. Now I do know that Juicy J and Gangsta Boo had a thing going on. You know what I'm saying? And she was very candid about putting that out there. She was basically saying that they were together or whatever. And then I think Juicy J had an event. She was saying that Juicy J had an event, and he didn't want her at the event or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Which sparked even more, I guess, turmoil or whatnot. And I can remember when, I think, I want to say it was DJ Smalls. It was a DJ Smalls interview or something like that. But basically, he interviewed Project Pat, and then he basically said that he was asking a question about whether or not Juicy would be involved with this particular person from the group or something like that. And Project Pat basically was like, he said, "Well, nah, I don't know about that." You know what I'm saying? And he didn't really go into real detail about what was going on. But see, those were some of the things that was really transpiring on top of the drugs too. I know drugs had a lot to do with it, but we know there was a lot more to the story, especially like when you're dealing with a group like 3 6 Mafia, who was known to be heavily invested into the streets too as well. You know what I'm saying? Some stuff is just not going to be talked about. Yeah, yeah. What does that mean, Ruth? But the Vogue fire. I don't know what that means. But anyways, um, you know, it's just that when you look at like certain groups, they have like we just coming off of the versus battle between 3 6 and between Bone Thugs and Harmony, right? So if you look at Bone Thugs and Harmony and their group, they had some things that went on, you know what I'm saying? And you saw that on display. What happened with Busy Bone? Busy Bone was a live wire. Busy Bone was constantly into something. Busy Bone was always, starting stuff, you know what I'm saying? And to the point where they kind of had to put him out the group sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So every group is going to have their fair share of turmoil. And let me just go ahead and block this. Every group is going to have their fair share of turmoil. And in this case right here, man, I'm just glad all this stuff is starting to come to light now. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody really wanted to know what truly took place with the group like 3 6 Mafia because they were an epic group. These guys were an epic group. These guys kept shit live. We have to call it what it is. They made classics. You saw it at the concert or at the verses. And I just think it's sad that it took them to realize, okay, it was the drugs or it was this or it was that. You know what I'm saying? When they could have been even much more successful. They could have made more money. They could have made more records. And Juicy, don't get me wrong, he did his thing on the solo tip, and he was definitely successful and everything. But I just think that if 3 6 had stayed together, man, they would have been even more successful. Now, R.I.P. Lord Infamous, he was an important part of the group. He was an important part of the group. And what a lot of people don't understand is that Lord Infamous was an important part of hip hop because he you have to credit Lord Infamous to a lot of what you're hearing now. Even though a lot of these guys they don't want to pay homage. They don't want to pay homage to that. You know what I'm saying? But you have to credit Lord Infamous to what you hear now, or what they call quote unquote, mumble rap or whatever, like the Migos and stuff like that. So yeah, he was an important part of the group. And even though like a lot of people they don't consider Project Pat a part of 3 6. I consider him a part of 3 6. I consider Pat a part of 3 6 because he had he had so many, had choruses, that he was known for his ad lib and his features. I mean, Pat can be used just like Crazy Bone is used on a lot of features. Busy Bone's used on a couple features or whatever. Even Juicy J, he's used on some features. He's got a good feature presence, and I don't think that people understand that. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. Y'all tell me what you think, man. Leave your comments. Like this video, share it, subscribe, hit them notifications. Until then, this Polo Sports Talking Entertainment. I'll get at y'all later.